and welcome to Carabao Cup Live for our second first round action tonight as we watch Leeds United take on Middlesbrough in the final tie of the 35 ties that we will see in round one. Following this, we will have the second round draw, where we will have 50 teams, 25 ties, and that will be done at the full-time whistle, shortly after the full-time whistle of this one here at Elland Road. We will see which of these two teams will progress. Middlesbrough got as close as any EFL team has been to the League Cup final in 11 years after they got to the semi-finals last season. They would love to replicate that. It's a long way to do so, but they start right here, as they did last season. Of course, as we're almost ready to get sorted, those are the players going to be coming out very shortly. Let's have a look at the 7:45 games. There's two games underway at the moment from 7:45, so around about 10-15 minutes gone in those. Sheffield Wednesday and Hull have had a really good start to that game, a high goal scoring start to that one. 3 goals in the first 11 minutes there at the MKM Stadium. Hull trailing 2-1. They actually went behind Charlie McNeil with the first goal for Wednesday before it was levelled through Marvin Mellum, before Charlie McNeil has re-given the lead to Sheffield Wednesday. It's still 0-0 in the other game between Plymouth and Cheltenham. Of course, Plymouth looking to bounce back from the 4-0 defeat away to Sheffield Wednesday at the weekend, and Cheltenham looking to get off to a good start tonight. Leeds Middlesbrough is our feature game, plus we will keep an eye on the Super Cup as we watch the Champions League winners Real Madrid take on the Europa League winners Atalanta. That kicks off in a moment or two's time in Warsaw, Poland. So, lots to keep you up to date with tonight, and let's have a look at the two teams for this one then here this evening. Let's start with Leeds United, who get us started here this evening. Carl Darlow starts in goal. A back four of Sam Byram, Joe Rodon, Max Verber and Junior Firpo make up the defence. Ethan Ampadu and Joe Rothwell start in midfield, with a front four: Joel Peru, Joe Gelhardt, Brendan Aronson in an attacking three, with a centre forward of Patrick Bamford. For Middlesbrough this evening and Michael Carrick's side start with Solomon Bryn in goal. A back four of Anthony Dijksteel, Daniel Barlazer, Matthew Clark and Lucas Engel make up the back four. Jonathan Howson, the captain, and Aidan Morris are the midfield two, with Alexander Gilbert a bit further forward. Off the right flank is Isaiah Jones, the left flank Delano Bergzorg, and the centre forward Josh Coburn. As I said, Middlesbrough got to the last four before they were knocked out in the semi-finals against Chelsea. They will look to get all the way there, or even close to it. Well, they need to overcome Elland Road tonight, something Portsmouth did very well at the weekend, getting a 3-3 draw. But Middlesbrough haven't won at this stadium in the last 8 visits. We'll see if they can change that tonight. Kick-off at Elland Road between Leeds and Middlesbrough is next. Right then, good evening and welcome to this one. We do apologise, there was a bit of a strange problem with our graphic there for the lineups. The lineups are on the right hand side of your screen. Leeds are the top team, and Middlesbrough the bottom team, of course. There on that one as the players just get ready to get sorted here. The sun hasn't quite set in Yorkshire this evening at Elland Road, but when it does become an under the lights game, it is sure to be an exciting one. Leeds in all white, of course. Middlesbrough in all red, as expected of these two teams. But how will they start tonight? How will they start their League Cup campaigns? Leeds exited this competition early last season on penalties, away at Salford. Middlesbrough got all the way to the semi-finals. Very different campaigns for these two last season in this competition. They both start at the same place and look for very exciting endings to this campaign, both domestically and also in the cups. As we get underway, these two are probably the two favourites for the championship title, to be getting automatic promotion to the Premier League next season. Leeds drew a 3-3 at home at the weekend. Middlesbrough also had a home start in their league opener at home to Swansea, winning by 1-0. So neither side convincing on the opening weekend, but a huge 3 points to start the season for Middlesbrough is exactly what they would have wanted. A trip away to Leeds on a Wednesday night. It's not going to be an easy game this evening, of course. Leeds, Elland Road, a fortress last season for the vast majority of the campaign, and unstoppable for long periods of time. Not many came here and came away with a positive result. And Portsmouth did come here and got away with a positive result at the weekend, so who knows what could happen on that front. Let's have a look quickly. The game has just got underway, just to confirm for you, between Real Madrid and Atalanta in the Super Cup, of course. That game underway at this very moment of time in Poland, so we will keep you up to date with that as that game has kicked off at the exact same time as us this evening, an 8 o'clock kick-off, so we'll be on par with the timings of that one. Well, of course, Daniel Farke made 8 changes to the Leeds side for tonight's game. 8 changes is a huge amount of changes, but not unexpected at this early point of the season, not unexpected in the early rounds of the Cup. As always, Michael Carrick did make some changes, not as many, but did make changes for this evening's game. Of course, that relentless nature of the Championship. Such a tough season, such a long season, such a very kind of tightly packed season. These clubs, these players playing 3 times a week, and a normal week in the Championship. It's not uncommon to be playing midweek football, but of course the Cup, a very different prospect for these two. Here's Sam Byram for Leeds. Gelhardt trying to play the ball through. The ball's fallen back, and now the chance is saved really nicely by Bryn. That was really good, intricate play by Leeds down the right hand side. It was a bit stumbly as they got into the box, and I think it was Junior Firpo that was arriving. Just struck onto the end of it. Really good save by Solomon Bryn. Here's Brendan Aronson off the left. Lots of white shirts arriving in the box. Aronson across to Firpo. Back to Aronson again. Look at the weave his way through. Firpo has his shot closed down once more. Really strong start from Leeds. Junior Firpo having 1 or 2 early opportunities. You see it again. Gelhardt flicks it on to Peru. Peru then gets it back to Aronson, and then Aronson tries to play it across to Bamford. Bamford then just leaves it, and it falls to Firpo coming around the left hand side, and he just strikes onto it with his left boot. The keeper closes down the angle and makes a really good save. A positive start for the home side. That's got the crowd up inside Elland Road up for this one tonight. Wasn't the most packed of Bramall Lanes last night and their first round tie against Wrexham, but much more witnesses and attendance here this evening at this one. Leeds will always fill this stadium out. Such an incredible stadium, such a historic stadium. That's a nice nick away, that time by Ampadu. Rothwell now finds Gelhardt breaking into the box. Gelhardt, well closed down. Really strong tracking back there. I think it was Bergzog. Just got back for Middlesbrough. And that's a lovely little turn now. It's end to end, early doors here. As there's Jones trying to break into the box in the shot. Really well saved by Darlow and put behind for the corner. Goodness me, counter-attacking football from both teams. Leeds come one way, have a chance at one end, and then right up the other end, directly on the counter come Middlesbrough. Just trying to see. Yeah, it was Delano Bergzorg had the shot, saved by Darlow, and then it came back out as Leeds put it behind for the corner. But really intense first 5 minutes here. Corner for Middlesbrough, taken short, flicked onto the front post, and took another header in there and just gone wide. There's 2 headers in there. See it again. Corner comes in from the right hand side. It's flicked on by Coburn, And then it was... might have been Dijksteel that maybe got on the end of it. There might have been an offside in there. Nonetheless, comes to nothing. 0-0 it remains. Certainly doesn't seem like it's going to continue that way, though. These two had a pretty intense end-to-end game a few months ago at the end of last season. That was at the Riverside, when Middlesbrough and Leeds fought out a 7-goal thriller. Both of their meetings last season had quite a number of goals. 4-3 at the Riverside and 3-2 here at Elland Road. A combined 12 goals in their two meetings last season. Yeah, not the best of clearances from Middlesbrough, but again, Leeds couldn't really take control of that one. In the midfield as Ampadu just chests it back to Middlesbrough possession. Engel to hook it up the field, but there's no one on target there, and Darlow will recover for Leeds at the back. Of course, a reminder, the second round draw is this evening after the full-time whistle in this one. So far, early doors, 83% possession for Leeds, but Middlesbrough have had more shots in the early 6.5 minutes. 3 to Leeds' 2 so far. Very different dynamic to tonight's coverage in the Carabao Cup, because we had 32 ties to keep an eye on last night, just 3 this evening, 1 that I'm watching and 2 to look over to, and then the Super Cup, so a lot more relaxed tonight for these games. Here's Rodon, out wide to Sam Byram, has to come back in field, lots of red shirts in his way as he goes back to Rodon. Verber, Ampadu, out to Max Verber. Looking to go for the early cross. Bamford to the target. Brought down by Gelhardt. Gets into the box. Wide it comes to Byram. Back to Joe Gelhardt. So they keep it on the attack in front. On the front foot, Leeds. Verber. Firpo. Good pressing by Middlesbrough, but Leeds look to be in there for a moment or two. Expecting a really well-matched game tonight between these two. As I said, they are the two, according to the bookies, to be the favourites to be the top two at the end of the championship season. We'll see if that is the case in April-May time, but we'll see. From their first match weeks, they weren't the most convincing, either of the two, but, you know, a long season, a marathon, not a sprint, is the AFL Championship. Both sides will know that. They will have their ups and downs. Leeds really didn't have the best start to last season before they went on to have an unwanted record equaling 90 points. 90 points is the joint most points without achieving automatic promotion in Championship history, which Leeds did get last season, 90 points. They would have broken the record if they'd have got anything on the final day, but they lost at home to Southampton on the final day last season, which sent them to the playoffs, which they eventually lost again to Southampton at Wembley. As Leeds get a free kick here. See it again. Yeah, it's a really good touch by Byram, and Matthew Clark comes flying out to make the challenge, and the free kick goes the way of the home side. Referee this evening is Anthony Backhouse. Has refereed 4 times in the AFL Cup previously. His last League Cup match that he refereed was Burnley's 4-0 win away at Salford back in September of 2023. Free kick taken by Leeds into the box, and the header is just over the bar. Nice delivery by Rothwell, and Byram was the one to head it over the crossbar. Nice fizzed ball by Joe Rothwell on the set piece. Curling into the box, really beautiful delivery, and Byram got up first. Bamford was there as well, but Sam Byram got higher, and the header went just too high over the bar. Well, Sam Byram, 30 now. Will be turning 31 in September. Of course, joined Leeds on a free transfer last season from Norwich. Has had previous at West Ham and Nottingham Forest, previous clubs that he was at. But he was a Leeds player from 2012 to 2016 after he came through the academy at this club. So back at the club where it all started for Sam Byram from last year. And he is certainly performing incredibly well so far. Scored 2 goals in the Championship last season. He only played 1 game in the League Cup last season. That was in the first round against Shrewsbury. Or Shrewsbury, whatever you want to call them. Which Leeds won 2-1. It was also a home game. That's really nice work in the midfield there from Rothwell. Byram. Now Gelhardt. Plays it down the line, looking for the run of Joel Pirout. Pirout gets behind the Middlesbrough defence, flicks it across, then another crossfield pass is cleared away. Although Rothwell picks it up again. Incredible pace from Joe Rothwell. Really energised for this one tonight. Middlesbrough just about hang on, get it clear, but that was really good energy by Leeds. Break down the right hand side, and then just as Middlesbrough try to scramble it clear, Rothwell piling in, really pressing to try and win it back, and it just makes Middlesbrough just a bit panicky at the back. It was Pirout that flicked it across, and then I think it was Brendan Aronson that again tried to roll it across into the 18-yard box for a target in there, and it just was clawed away by a Middlesbrough player. But again, really threatening from Leeds, and you can understand why they're one of the favourites to be up at the top end of the Championship this season, because this is a side that has 8 changes from the weekend's game against Portsmouth, and it looks strong. It doesn't look like it's weak or it's not capable. They do look strong, Leeds. So they've got a really good squad, a really good set of quality in the players that they have, and that is really impressive. Building a squad such as that from Leeds. I mean, I look at the lineups from the weekend. Ilan Meslier is their starting goalkeeper. Carl Darlow comes in for him tonight. Their back 4 that started the weekend, 2 changes to that back 4. Joe Rodon and Junior Firpo continue tonight. Jadon Bogle and Pascal Stroik, who scored a penalty for Leeds at the weekend, both not involved this evening. Ampadu continues in midfield. Ilya Gruev was alongside him. Rothwell's alongside him this evening. Gruev's on the bench tonight. Wilfred Nonto is he on the bench tonight? He is on the bench tonight. Jorginho Ruter doesn't start tonight. Dan James doesn't start, or Matteo Joseph. So that's 8 players in total for Leeds that have swapped out tonight. But you look at tonight's starting 11, and it's not that they're a poor or underperforming side. It's not a side that should be easily beaten, or a side full of youngsters. That shows the squad depth of this Leeds United side, and how impressive and how much work Daniel Farker's done with the club to kind of make sure that they're ready to go for another push for promotion, because that's what they need. That's what Leeds aim for. Jadon Bogle joined for on a deal from Sheffield United, £5.1 million. Joe Rothwell on loan from Bournemouth. They signed Alex Cairns from Salford for an unknown transfer. Also Joe Rodon, £10 million from Tottenham. Brendan Aronson came back from his loan as well. And they've got other players out there as well. Lots of players. And you look at Leeds and you think, yeah, I can see kind of where they're going to go. Yes, they've lost Chrysanthio Somerville, seen as kind of their talisman last season in carrying them to that third place. But in a sense, it's money that's being reused, and it's not that Leeds are short of attacking quality or short of any certain positions. Plus, they've made some big sales as well. They sold Diego Llorente. They sold Glenn Kamara for £8.6 million to Rennes. And of course, Crescencio Somerville to West Ham for £25 million. So it's not that they're, one, struggling for money, two, struggling for players, or struggling for a manager. In a sense, Leeds have the perfect setup at the moment to go on a promotion push. And clearly that is the reason for what they want to do this season and their aims for this campaign. And we'll, of course, see if that ends up coming to fruition. Right, on the right hand side of your screen you can see the live stats for this one. So far, after we've played 16 minutes, Leeds dominating the possession, but 3 shots apiece so far in the game. Elsewhere in the first round of the Carabao Cup, the other 2 ties that are currently ongoing, Hull against Sheffield Wednesday is an all-championship tie, as well as this one here at Elland Road. It is Hull 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2 at the moment. And in the other tie at Home Park, it is Championship Plymouth taking on League 2 Cheltenham. So Plymouth at home to Cheltenham as well. This evening, 0-0 in that one. And also in the Super Cup this evening that we're watching in Poland between Real Madrid and Atalanta, it is still goalless between the sides. I mean, looking at Real Madrid's starting lineup tonight, anybody in world football would struggle to beat that. But Atalanta did the seemingly impossible and were the only team to beat Bayer Leverkusen in the whole of last season in that Europa League final. So nothing's impossible. We'll see what comes of that tonight for you, and we'll have the full updates from Poland throughout the night. The ball comes all the way back to Karl Darlow. Verber. Darlow again. Out to Rodon. Now Byram. Getting a bit loose with his pass, but picked up in the midfield by Rothwell, just about, as Ampadu pumps forward. Just a bit too much for Bamford to chase, and easily gathered there by Solomon Bryn in the Middlesbrough goal. Solomon Bryn, of course, not a name we know from last season, but a name that we'll get to know throughout this season, coming through the Middlesbrough youth squad, 23 years old. He is officially categorised with the Middlesbrough under-21s, but of course isn't under-21. But of course starts tonight, makes his official debut this evening, a competitive debut for Middlesbrough after appearing in 3 of their club friendlies, or being on the bench for 3 of their club friendlies at the start of the season. He was on loan at Solomon Bryn at Leyton Orient and at Swindon as well in the last 2 seasons, and after coming through that Middlesbrough youth side. So getting his big opportunity tonight and a chance to impress Michael Carrick. Because as I said, Middlesbrough have made changes as well this evening. Of course, their usual goalkeeper, Seny Dieng, is not involved this evening on the bench. It's not travelled with the squad. Of course, one of their starters, a former Leeds player from Saturday's game against Swansea, Luke Ayling, used to play for this club in white. He's on the bench tonight. As here's Peru trying to break through. Well, closed down again by Middlesbrough. But again, Leeds just really constantly finding a way to break in between the lines of Middlesbrough, finding those little gaps in the central areas. And at time, Middlesbrough really haven't pushed up the field very much. They've been sitting deep. They've been allowing Leeds possession, and they engage that press when Leeds try and arrive into the final third. Here's Firpo off the left hand side looking to battle, and Firpo will get a corner out of that, I believe. He does. Referee didn't see a foul on Dijksteel there. Or sorry, Isaiah Jones. He's playing in the cover as he dropped back from right wing there. Isaiah Jones just went to ground a bit easily, according to the referee. And a corner won by Junior Fairpo for Leeds on the left-hand side. Right-footed delivery from the corner into the box and headed away by Matthew Clark in there for Middlesbrough, but out for a Leeds throw on the right-hand side. Byram to take this throw. To Joel Piroux. Byram back to Rodon. This Leeds moving it quickly. Fairpo under pressure. Isaiah Jones there, returning the favour and committing the foul on Junior Fairpo. The ball goes through the lines again from Leeds. They move it really quickly. Byram picks it up off Piroux. Now out to Gelhardt. Gelhardt across and height in it. The keeper was kind of reaching for it but couldn't get there. And then this pressure on the Middlesbrough defence sees Isaiah Jones put it behind for a cheap corner. Pressure starting to get to Middlesbrough. Again, really good move down the right-hand side. Byron played it along to Gelhardt. Gelhardt just chipped it across the 6-yard box. The keeper was stretching, couldn't reach it, and just no one could be there on the back post for Leeds, but they kept it alive and pressured Middlesbrough into giving away a cheap corner, of which Joe Rothwell will take. Left-hand side, in-swinging corner. Scoop on it, says again Clark's there to head it away again. Gelhardt picks it up on the edge of the box. Didn't get a clean touch on that one as he was nipped at. And he will get the free kick there as he runs back towards his own goal. Another foul committed by Middlesbrough. And another free kick to Leeds United. Again, just sticking legs out. Throwing stray legs at players. That time it was Barlasser that gave away that free kick. Gelhardt, who won the free kick, standing around it. I don't know if he's going to be taking it. Looks like Rothwell will take once again. Gelhardt just tying his shoelace there. He does walk away. Rothwell will take this one. Target's in there, but Bamford is the one eagerly poking his head out. Can Rothwell find a teammate in there? Rothwell with the delivery. Again, cleared away by Middlesbrough, and Gelhardt was there to pick up the loose ball, but struck it well over the bar. It's never going to test the keeper from that distance. Again, the delivery maybe just a little bit low from Rothwell. Didn't really glide across the 18-yard boxes. A couple of his teammates were a bit deeper in the box, and the ball came out back to Gelhardt, who struck it well over the bar. Not much threat on that one at all. Again, Middlesbrough just unable to keep possession at the moment. Every time they try and pass forward, they give the ball away. So here's Bamford. Back to Ampadu. Byram to Rothwell. Looking for the run of Bamford. Looking to curl it, but good strong defending back there by the Middlesbrough captain, Howson, who head back to his keeper. 24 minutes gone here at Elland Road. Leeds 0, Middlesbrough 0 in the first round of the Carabao Cup. Leeds have been the better side. They've had more of the chances and better the possession. And nipping away there was Bamford. He went down. The referee played advantage and is going to pull it back now for a Leeds free kick. Just seems like Leeds are just getting those little touches. That's really frustrating for Middlesbrough. Gelhardt does well to pass it off to Bamford, and Bamford just stretches the left leg out to flick it forward for the give and go. And then he just ends up being fouled in the end there by Howson, and a free kick given to Leeds ultimately. And also a yellow card goes the way of Johnny Howson. So a booking for the Middlesbrough captain. Again, another free kick, but this one More in the centre for Rothwell to try and deliver. I've had a number of these types of set pieces so far this evening, Leeds. This one a bit more difficult. Delivery is a lot less deep as it's flicked on by Ampadu, but no one there to pick up the loose ball at the edge of the box. So Isaiah Jones carries it away. Gilbert to switch it out to the right hand side. Nicely taken down by Berlazer. Now Dijksteel. Berlazer again. So he goes back to Huyson. And now Clark. Back to Bryn. Out to Huyson. Now Barlasser. Again to Huyson. That's a nice touch around the corner that time from Dijksteel, using his feet and lots of bodies around him. He keeps the attack going as the referee plays the advantage. Bergzorg there battling, wants the corner and gets the corner, which is left Junior Firpo and Leeds fans a bit baffled, I think. Was there? Say it again. I don't think there was a touch in there. It's very close. Yeah, it was deemed to be a last touch. It looked very tight, that. Maybe just took a touch off Bergzorg, but nonetheless, free kick. The corner is given to Middlesbrough on the right hand side. Gilbert to step up the take, right footed, low across the front post. That's a really poor delivery. Bamford to hook it away, but Gilbert will whip it back in. Fully cleared by Leeds as now they've hooked it away. Again, defensively, not convincing in the clearances either team so far. Luckily for Leeds, they haven't been in their own half very much of this first period in this tie so far. But Middlesbrough have a lot more defending to do in the first 27.5 minutes. They've done it well. Not just about. As Ken Byram got the better of his man. Again, linking up with Pirou. Tried to flick it on, but well closed down in the midfield by Middlesbrough. Berlazer. Dijksteel. Ball played in behind, looking for the run of Coburn, but again, well stopped out there by Leeds at the back. Bamford, nice touch and flick, but the pass after was wasted that time by Pirou. Again, maybe a bit sloppy in the last few minutes from both teams. As Middlesbrough get a break of the ball. Again, the runner just not able to find a pass off, although that's poor out from the back there from Leeds. Not able to make the most of it, Engel. Lots of challenges flying in. Ampadu battling up there as a Middlesbrough player down, but the referee's played on at the moment. And I think they might put this one out of play now, as they're just going to stop the game actually. The referee goes over to check on the Middlesbrough player down. And he's going to receive treatment here. You'll see the incident again. It is Isaiah Jones. Just picks up the ball and just collides with Sam Byram. It's not a foul, but yeah. It looked 50-50 to me, that challenge. Don't think it was a foul. But there was no free kick given anyway. Let's give you an update from Poland. Not much to really update you on so far. There is no goals between Real Madrid and Atalanta. So far, it's not been that impressive from either team in the early moments. Just one shot apiece, none on target. Not very much to tell you about the game. 50-50, more like a friendly than anything else out there in Poland so far. Nothing to separate the two teams, but just naming the roster of players that Real Madrid have out there tonight. Courtois, Carvajal, Militao, Rudiger, Mendy, Valverde, Tchouaméni, Rodrigo, Bellingham, Vinicius Junior, and of course Kylian Mbappe. an absolute star-studded Real Madrid side so far, but of course Ademola Lookman, the star man of that that Europa League final win over Bayer Leverkusen back in May, is in the Atalanta side tonight. Of course, Charles de Ketelara along amongst them as well. Zappacosta, Ruggieri, Kolasinac, Hien, Dimshiti, De Roon, of course, Pasalic. So both sides have a lot of quality, but so far not showing it. 0-0 out there in Poland. Isaiah Jones back to his feet after receiving that bit of treatment. He's on the sidelines, so should be okay to continue. And will be waved back on by the referee any moment. Here's Lucas Engel. Back to Clark. Morris. Nice give and go in the midfield there, but again, the mistake at the back. The keeper was luckily out there, Bryn, because Bamford would have had a free run in behind. Again, Middlesbrough just a bit sloppy there. They tried to go for the cute give and go between Barlaser and Morris and messed it up the second time, Morris, with his touch, and the deflection took it into the path of Bamford. Luckily the keeper was there on the cover, otherwise that would have been a really tough moment for Middlesbrough and a really promising opportunity for Leeds United. Nonetheless, Leeds got a free kick for an offside. .31.5 minutes gone. 0-0. I think this game does need a goal to really kind of ignite it, really. Here's Dijksteel, drags into midfield. Nice touch by Gilbert. Plays it out to Isaiah Jones into the box. It comes! And again, on the end of it was Coburn. The shot from distance is straight down the throat of Carl Darlow. That one from Morris. But again, good break down the right hand side. Dijksteel has miles of space to spread it out to the right flank. Isaiah Jones just lifts it into the box first time. Coburn can't really take control of it. It then bounces back out into the edge of the box. And the strike from the edge from Aidan Morris, just straight down the throat of Carl Darlow. Good movement from there from Middlesbrough. Good moment. Maybe them just growing into this game a bit more. Leeds haven't been as dominant as they once were on the ball. It's still 66% in their favour, but it was well over 70% earlier on in the game. As Dijksteel passes back to his keeper, Brent has to go long, as that's brought down by Gilbert. To Dijksteel. Isaiah Jones tries to spin around his man. Leeds nick it away though. And now Firpo down the left channel. To Joel Piroux. Now Firpo again. Piroux. Nice flick on to Aronson. Can't find the pass off. Brendan Aronson. Tracked all the way there by Barlaser. Zampadu tries to fizz it forward. Nice touch by Piroux, but couldn't spin. Spun into Middlesbrough bodies. As Engel clears. Really intense, high pressing game so far, and again Middlesbrough just a bit too aggressive in that press, giving away that free kick to Sam Byram. Which again gives Leeds a bit of a respite, a bit of time to recoup. The last 5 minutes haven't really been the most impressive from Leeds. This is a nice ball darted down the left to Aronson. Up against Isaiah Jones, who's doubled cover. Now Firpo lifts it into the box. Targets in there. Bryn with a strong right hand. Clears it away. It's now looking to be cleared by Bergzorg. Dijksteel. Jones just overstretching that. Was Berlazer as Leeds pick it up again in the middle. Look at this run from Rothwell. Closed down well as he arrived in the box. And now Sam Byram just steps in field and gives away that unnecessary free kick on his opponent there. And a yellow card is going to come Sam Byram's way. It was Gilbert that he fouled. And Byram completely gets done by Gilbert and completely clotheslines him. Takes him out and gets that yellow card. Sam Byram that some called for a bit earlier on. But he now does have that yellow. half-time in those two 7:45 kickoffs at the MKM Stadium and at Home Park. Hull 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2, and it is 0-0 between Plymouth and Cheltenham. As Engels breaks down the left-hand side, nice touch by Coburn, and wrong side of the netting there for Josh Coburn. Nice effort again down that left-hand side. Miles of space here for Lucas Engel to break into. No one tracking the runner from a Leeds point of view. Rodon tries to limit the damage, try and come across to block the cross. Engel does really well to cut it back. Coburn stretches alongside Verber to reach round for it, but on the spin takes the shot and hits the side netting. Much more positive from Middlesbrough, but again, nothing to show for it, which has been the theme of this first half. Both sides having chances, just not able to find the net with them. Dijksteel tried to break down the right, well closed down. As Leeds have a bit of an overload now down this left. Here's Junior Firpo breaking into space. He's got bodies ahead of him. Looks to flick it on to Aronson. Aronson around about the byline, has men in cover. And he just gets nicked of the ball there by Matthew Clark. And Berlazer does try and clear it, but gets it back to Ampadu. Again, it's end-to-end stuff, this. Firpo. Back to Rodon. Less than 10 minutes to go with the first half. Leeds 0, Middlesbrough 0. Remember, the game is level after 90 minutes. No extra time, but straight to a penalty shootout if the game is level after 90 minutes. Of course, a long way to go until that's the case, but do have to mention it. Gelhardt, who we haven't heard very much from in the last few minutes. Rodon. Now Max Verber. To Firpo. Doesn't want to break forward there that time. Firpo has to come back to Ampadu there, and Rodon to pick it back up again. Middlesbrough at 4-4-2 at times, out of possession. Yeah, with Gilbert and Josh Coburn, the two up front for Middlesbrough, and then the four in midfield. The two wingers, Isaiah Jones and Delano Bergzorg, just dropping back alongside Berlazer and Morris, and the back four behind them. Just trying to really pack out the midfield at the moment, Middlesbrough. But Leeds so far, that's where they've got their joy, through the middle, and here they come again, and Bamford trying to climb around Dijksteel, but not in enough time before Bryn got the gather on the ball. Again, just as I said, Leeds got the joy in midfield. Gelhardt just plays it in. Nice ball into Joel Piroux in the central area. He just tried to flick it behind for Bamford, but Bamford couldn't get his way around the defender, Anthony Dijksteel. Here's one big specimen of a human being, and it's not easy to get past. As Rothwell almost messes that one up. Got a bit lucky that the ball deflected off a Middlesbrough player, but completely underhit that pass back to his defence. Firpo. Back it comes, all the way back to Darlow, who goes long. Piroux trying to take it down, but Morris was around him, and as Firpo tried to take it down, going to be penalised for a high boot here against Aidan Morris. Free kick going Middlesbrough's way. As I mentioned earlier in the build-up, the last 8 visits to this ground, Middlesbrough haven't won on their last 8 visits. The last win here at Elland Road was back in August 2011, when there was 3 red cards in that game. Leeds were down to 9, Middlesbrough were down to 10, and they ended up winning by a goal to nil in the second round of the new championship season that season. So it was almost 13 years to the day. That was the last time that Middlesbrough won on this ground. Who knows, that could be an omen. Although they have played each other twice here at Elland Road in August since then, and Leeds emerging victorious on both occasions. or actually Leeds failing to lose on both occasions. They won in 2014 and drew 0-0 in 2018, both games in August. Not that that means very much. 5 minutes to go in the first half. Leeds 0, Middlesbrough 0. I'd say it's been a pretty even game. I mean, the scoreline is pretty reflective of, in terms of the attacking play so far. It's not that either side has deserved to take a massive lead, or a lead whatsoever. They've played decent football and had decent opportunities, both sides, but a draw would be a fair reflection of the first 40 minutes. Leeds dominated the early moments, but Middlesbrough certainly got back into the game, and they come forward here. Really good recovery by Byram, as that ball was fed through by Bergzorg at that time. But again, Byram just got his foot in the way to block the pass. But again, Leeds getting caught in midfield there, which is a rarity of this first half. Then they just broke on. It was a really nice ball by Delano Bergzorg. Maybe Isaiah Jones was just offside. The flag stayed down. Maybe he was just offside, and in the end, Byram got on the cover to defend that situation. As I was saying, Leeds dominated the early moments of the half, but Middlesbrough certainly had the better of it in the last 10 minutes or so. It just seems like at this moment in time, Leeds are just trying to claw that back as the half ends and looking to end the half, the stronger of the two teams. Let's see. Certainly not going to be a one-sided game, I can tell you that very much tonight, and certainly the scoreline won't be one-sided. And don't forget, the EFL may be well underway now after the Championship, League 1 and League 2 underway at the weekends, and the Carabao Cup now underway this midweek. It's been a busy week for the EFL. The Premier League returns on Friday night, as I'll tell you about that in a moment, as Middlesbrough come forward, and the ball takes a deflection off Isaiah Jones, or Isaiah Jones with the shot, Verber with the deflection. Corner incoming for Middlesbrough. As I was saying, Premier League returns Friday night. Manchester United host Fulham in the Premier League opener on Friday. You can watch that, have live watch-along commentary of that one here on Friday nights, as we will begin another league this weekend. It's the third successive week that we'll be debuting a new league. The Scottish Premiership was the first, almost 2 weeks ago now. The Championship at the weekend that just gone, and now the Premier League this weekend. We'll also have La Liga action for you on Saturday night. We'll tell you more about that a bit later on. On Friday we'll tell you about that one. It's La Liga. Is something we want to take up this season. Not just because Real Madrid have the best team in the world at the minute. That's partially to do with it. There is a break-up in play here at the moment, by the way. There is a Leeds player down. Junior Firpo is down injured, so he is receiving treatment. Remember, Middlesbrough do have a corner at the moment whenever Junior Firpo does receive that treatment. And that treatment is complete. Middlesbrough will have a corner, so that's still to come. As we enter the final minute of the first 45, we'll see how long's added on. There's been a few injury stoppages and a stop-start game in this first half, so I'd expect a few minutes of added time as the corners are allowed to be taken. Firpo's off the pitch, so Leeds with 10 at the moment. As the ball fizzed into the box, Clark to flick it on. Again headed away by Leeds, but back it comes with Berlazer, and Clark with a low cross, and that'll just be seen away from goal by Patrick Bamford, who got back defending to clear his lines. We'll analyse this first half, plus we'll have a look ahead to the second round draw tonight. We'll have the ball numbers for you, we'll pick out a couple, and we'll also have the live draw at the final whistle here tonight. Shortly after the final whistle, we'll talk through all of the results from the first round a bit later on, and what's to come on LFS this season. Lots to talk about before the second round draw a bit later on. But which of these two teams will be in it? Let's see as this game continues tonight. 4 added minutes at the end of the half. Middlesbrough in the final third at the moment, as the ball from Gilbert is just wide. That's a decent effort. Again, I said Middlesbrough were in the final third there. Morris just plays it across in the through ball to find Gilbert on the spin. Flag stays down, and rightfully so. He's not offside, but he just completely misses the target. Tries to curl it, but not enough curl anywhere near Carl Darlow's goal. I think Darlow was beaten if it had been on target, but just went wide from Alexander Gilbert. And a decent opportunity for Middlesbrough, but another one gone a begging, as they say. Sam Byram. Road on. Back to Darlow. Now Verber. Again, tries to play it down the line. Well closed out by Isaiah Jones, but Verber got it back and played it to Brennan Aronson. And now Bamford in behind. He chips it around the keeper. The flag went up, though. They certainly got that flag up as soon as he could there, the assistant. Bamford didn't even have the chance to try and put it in the net. And he was just offside, I would say. Very narrow. Just leaning offside, I would say, Bamford there. That was a really nice idea. Just a split second too early, Bamford, on that run in behind. And I have to say, Daniel Farker will have a bit of thinking to do at half-time. The side did start the better of the two teams, and I said how strong their side look. On paper, it's a really strong team, but sometimes when Middlesbrough just have calm possession, Leeds just really struggle to combat them out of possession. But in possession, Leeds so far have been pretty much faultless. Other than a goal, it's the only thing they're missing. But out of possession is still something that I think, we'll need to focus on as the game continues, because Middlesbrough, when they do have the ball, do look threatening themselves. Bryn. 1 minute to go with a half at Elland Road tonight. The lights taking their effect as the sun goes down in mid-August in the first round of the Carabao Cup. And again, Junior Firpo's committed a foul, and he's got a yellow card as well here. Let's see it again. Yeah, Jones makes the run in behind Junior Firpo, and he just grapples him to the floor. I mean, it's naive from Junior Firpo. I mean, similar diagnosis of this fella, Firpo, over the last few seasons, Premier League or Championship. He's always got a yellow card in him. So he does. He's a bookie's nightmare, in a sense. When Leeds are playing and he's playing, you put a bet on him getting a yellow card more times than enough. You will get the payout on that, although that's not betting advice whatsoever. Although it's not completely wrong. Free kick for Middlesbrough to end the half then. Surely that one is too deep. Easily gathered by Carl Darlow. And that was the last action of the first half. A first half where it's been ebbing and flowing between the two teams. Both have had their good spells, both have had their bad spells, but neither untouched and damaged in that first half, because at half-time at Elland Road in the first round of the Carabao Cup between Leeds and Middlesbrough, it's goalless. Analysis on the way next. Do stay with us. Welcome back to Carabao Cup live on LFS this evening for the first round. We had a lot of coverage of the first round last night. 32 ties to sink our teeth into last night. 32 teams progressing, of course. Quite a number of penalty shootouts as well last night. Remember, no extra time in the Carabao Cup this season. Just penalties at least until the semi-final stages anyway. So the first 5 rounds, it's level after 90 minutes straight to penalties, which I've been advocating for quite a while. Right, so half-time at Elland Road, nothing to show for it so far. Leeds 0, Middlesbrough 0, so a very tight game between these two. Let's just show you what has happened elsewhere then this evening. In tonight's games, 3 games for you tonight. Elsewhere at the MKM Stadium, they've had all the goals of this evening's ties as Hull are losing 2-1 at home to Sheffield Wednesday. Wednesday got off to a winning start in the Championship at the weekend with their 4-0 victory over Plymouth at Hillsborough. Hull actually rescued a draw out of their game at home to Bristol City at the weekend in their Championship opener. But tonight it is the same idea going for Sheffield Wednesday, winning once again. It was Charlie McNeil that opened the scoring in the first minute of the game for Sheffield Wednesday. 8 minutes later, in the 9th minute, Marvin Mellum levelled things for Hull. Before just a minute after that, Hull were behind once again. Charlie McNeil in the 10th minute. Hull have been level in this game for a total amount of 1 minute and 30 seconds. It's an incredibly low amount of time. They conceded in the first minute, and they conceded literally the minute after they'd levelled. It is incredible. And we're into the second half in that one. It is still Hull 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2. Elsewhere, and the other 7:45 kickoff, Plymouth taking on Cheltenham. Plymouth, as I said, comfortably beaten by 4 goals to 0 by Sheffield Wednesday at the weekend, but their first home game of the new season sees them at the moment in the second half drawing 0-0 with Cheltenham Town of League 2. Remember, 2 divisions between these two sides. So far, Plymouth have had the better of the chances. Over 60% possession, 16 shots, 10 corners. They have dominated the game so far. It's just a lack of a clinical edge for Wayne Rooney's Plymouth this evening. But certainly pushing for that opening goal at the very least, and more out of that. They've had 16 shots, and the lack of a clinical edge you can tell because they've only had 2 shots on target out of the 16 shots. Really not impressive, but Plymouth still in there and still dominating and pushing for what would be a winner at this stage. So 0-0 at Home Park, and as it is here between Leeds and Middlesbrough, 2 sides in the same division in that all-championship tie. 5 of our 6 teams involved tonight are from the Championship. 3 of them at least, or at least 2 of them, will be leaving us this evening. It could be 3 if Plymouth do lose, but at least 2 of them will be leaving us tonight in the first round. We did see some big results last night. Let's just show you the ball numbers for tonight's draw. We'll start with the north section. Of course, the draw for the Carabao Cup. We don't show it here with our fixture list, but the 2 sets of... with the draw to make it easier to match teams up and to make it less kind of travel ineffective. They split for the first 2 rounds. They split the competition into the north section and the south section. It is a line drawn at the start of every season for all the teams competing in the competition to show who is in the north section, who is in the south section, at least for the first 2 rounds. So this is the north section, 26 teams in the north section for the second round draw. Barnsley are ball number 1, Barrow number 2, Blackburn 3, Blackpool 4, Bolton 5, Burnley 6, Derby 7, etc, etc. Some sides joining us, of course, for the second round. All the Premier League sides that aren't involved in European competitions all join us in this section, plus the 2 Championship sides that weren't involved in the first round. Of course, Luton and Burnley, they join in this one. So, as I said there, Burnley are ball number 6, they join us. Everton of the Premier League are ball number 9. Also Leicester, Newcastle, Nottingham Forest all join us. So they're 14, 15 and 16. Elsewhere, Wolves are number 24. Two of tonight's games, as you can see at the very bottom there, 25 and 26. The winners of those will take those ball numbers. One of those numbers, number 10, Fleetwood Town, have caused the upset of the competition after they beat Championship West Brom last night by 2-1. An incredible feat from League 2 Fleetwood, and they have got through to the second round. They are ball number 10 this evening. It is actually the second successive season that West Brom have exited the competition at the first round. The Baggies certainly not getting results in this competition in recent times. It's certainly not a good comp for them. So that's the north section. There's not much deviation between the two sections. The south section, there are 24 teams, so it's neither here nor there. Really, it's not a massive difference, and they tried to do that, make the split as even as possible. Let's have a look at the south section then. As you can see, 24 teams there. Bournemouth of the Premier League join. Is in here. Brentford, Brighton, also Premier League sides joining us. Colchester with a big result last night. Crystal Palace join us as well. Now ball number 10. Ball number 11 are Fulham. Ipswich, ball number 12. Fulham, of course, got to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup last season. They're ball number 11, as I said. Luton, ball number 14, they join us after their 4-1 defeat at home to Burnley on Monday night in the Championship. Their return ended in defeat at Kenilworth Road. They'll see who they will face in the second round. Their ball number 14 in the South section draw. Norwich just scraped past Stevenage last night at Carrow Road 4-3. Their ball number 16. Oxford got off to a very good start to the season. 2 wins from 2 after their promotion. They beat Norwich in the Championship and then won last night 2-0 as well at home. So a perfect start to the season for them. They're hoping for another home draw. Their ball number 17. Southampton join us back in the Premier League again. Numbers 19. Watford, of course, a very convincing victory last night against MK Dons. Their ball number 21. West Ham, ball number 22. And Plymouth Cheltenham, the winner of that one, is ball number 24. Of course, all the Premier League sides competing in European competitions are not involved in this round coming up. They all enter in the third round of the Carabao Cup. Of course, the Carabao Cup, first, second, third, fourth, fifth rounds. Then you go to the semi-finals and the final then to come. So 7 rounds. And if Middlesbrough are to do what they did last season and get to the semi-finals, well, they're going to have to win tonight, and they're going to have to progress from 5 rounds, after which, if they want to get to the final, that is 4 rounds to get to the semis. Right, that is still to come. The second half between Leeds and Middlesbrough on the way very shortly. As I mentioned, the second round draw, we will have all the details of that draw later on this evening. Our graphics are ready to go for that one this evening, and you can see that live. When the draw is being done, bit by bit, second by second, here on LFS. You'll not want to miss that in the second half. Right, so those are the updates from the Carabao Cup then. Let's update you from the Super Cup, which is also at half-time. And it is, like it is here at Elland Road, it is 0-0 between Real Madrid and Atalanta at half-time. I said it was really lacking in much quality. They had 1 or 2 shots each before the half concluded, but still without a shot on target in that in the game between those two in Poland. I said it was more of a friendly. It seems like that. They're just building up their fitness for their league campaign start in a few days and weeks' time. Real Madrid are in league action on Sunday night. They head to Mallorca at 8:30 UK time on Sunday night. So a trip back to Spain and a trip to Mallorca for Real Madrid on match day 1. Atalanta, of course, the Italian side, the Europa League champions, their league campaign starts on Monday evening. They get an extra day as they head to Lecce on the opening game of the season in Serie A. Right, so that is 0-0 at the break. Of course, the winners of that one will receive the Super Cup trophy. If Real Madrid are to do that, then Luka Modric will become the most decorated player in Real Madrid's history, certainly, and we'll see if he can do that tonight. Real Madrid have to win first, and let's see if they can do that. Right, second half from the Carabao Cup. First round is on the way next. Welcome back to Carabao Cup Live. Then second half between Leeds and Middlesbrough is on the way in just a moment. We have a goal from home park. Thought it'd never come, but we do. We have a goal from home park, and it is the home side, quite ironically, that have the lead. Ben Waine has given Wayne Rooney's side the lead from a free kick, and it's just a save by the keeper and a rebound off Ben Waine into the net. It's not the cleanest of goals, but they all count, and I'm sure that's what Wayne Rooney will be telling his players. It doesn't matter, they do lead, and that is the way it stands at home park at the moment. Don't forget, as I said, the Premier League returns this Friday. Manchester United welcome Fulham to Old Trafford Friday night, 8 o'clock kickoff for that one. Right. Second half is about to get underway. Here between Leeds and Middlesbrough. First half without a goal, without real major chances. I think they've had half chances both sides, but they need that little bit of excitement, that little bit of clinical edge that they've both lacked in that first half, and something I'm sure both managers, Daniel Farke and Michael Carrick, will be hoping to see from their sides in the second period, because it is, I wouldn't say it's massively important, but both sides don't want to go out at the first round. One of them will have to, whether it be Leeds or Middlesbrough. We will find out very shortly. Of course, as I mentioned, this next 45 minutes, if there is no goals or if it is level after the 90 minutes, we will be heading straight to a penalty shootout to decide our winner. Well, Leeds didn't get past round 2 last time. Last season, of course, lost on penalties to Salford in the second round last campaign. They want to get to the second round and probably progress past that this season. They have to face, as I said, the semi-finalists of the 23-24 campaign in the Carabao Cup. Not an easy task. That was a Middlesbrough side that were just one step away from a Wembley day out. Remember, they won the League Cup back in 2004, the year I was born. Middlesbrough, they faced Bolton on that occasion. They won 2-1. Of course, Leeds have also won this trophy in their history. As they're about to get back underway in the second half. Of course, Leeds kicking from right to left, Middlesbrough from left to right. Let's see if changes are going to be made in the second half. There's no changes at half time, but maybe a substitute could come on and make the difference. Of course, Brendan Aronson, who was very heavily involved in Leeds at the weekend, scored that equaliser against Portsmouth and almost scored a winner. He was inches away from giving Leeds an incredible last gasp winner here at the weekend against Portsmouth. As Gilbert has a nice ball forward, as he just stumbles on the ball. Leeds can't deal with it as Jones now plays it to Dijksteel across, and stretched out there was Verber to clear it away. Good start for the Middlesbrough fans that are applauding. Dijksteel well closed down that time. Out there on the left-hand side. Middlesbrough fans in that little corner to the right of the camera angle, of the camera position here this evening, as Middlesbrough win another throw-in. They're not happy with that, Leeds. Brendan Aronson complaining. Decision going against his team. Of course, we did mention that big stat last night. It's been a long, long time since an EFL club won this trophy. It's been a long, long time since an EFL club was in the final of this competition. It was 11 years ago. Swansea against Bradford. Bradford were comfortably beaten by Swansea on that occasion in 2013, but that was the last time that an EFL club was in the Carabao Cup final, or as then it was known, the Carling Cup final. It was the Capital One Cup. It's had so many bloody names over the years. The League Cup final, of course, the easy thing to call it. But as I said, Middlesbrough were in that final in 2004. They won in the Millennium Stadium back then. In 2004, they won by 2-1 against Bolton Wanderers. Leeds have won this competition in their history. It was a long, long time ago. To be exact, 1968. Leeds won this competition at the very old Wembley Stadium. There was over 97,000 people in attendance over their 1-0 win against Arsenal that time round. And to put that into context, the team that are the record holders of this competition, the record winners and the current holders, Liverpool, have won the competition 10 times, hadn't won a League Cup until 13 years after Leeds won it. Liverpool won it in 1981 for the very first time. Leeds, of course, 1968. That puts in context how long ago Leeds' victory in this competition was. An incredible long time ago. 56 years. Get my numbers right. 56 years ago since Leeds won their one and only League Cup. Both of these sides have won it once. They would love to dream to do it again, but as I said, it's not been a common theme for an AFL club to be even in the final, never mind challenging to actually win the trophy. In recent years, it's been the Premier League sides that have probably taken more care and more kind of respect to this the competition in the last so many years. And it has been shared by the North West clubs for quite a number of years now. Since 2016, a team in the North West in either Liverpool or Manchester has won this trophy. Since 2016, Liverpool have won it twice, Manchester City have won it 4 times, and Manchester United twice in there as well. Sorry, Man City won it 5 times, United twice, and Liverpool twice on those occasions. Here's Dijksteel for Middlesbrough. Lovely goal. Strides in from the right-hand side, edge of the box, and just sweeps it into the bottom left corner. Lovely goal from Anthony Dijksteel. And last season's semi-finalists break the deadlock at Elland Road. Leeds haven't really come out in the second half. Middlesbrough have started the better of the sides, and Dijksteel has really got going. Breaks down that right-hand side, gets past his marker, and Brendan Aronson. It's too easy to allow him to go past. Dijksteel just gets that burst of pace, drives in field, just carries the ball across the 18-yard box, and has allowed too much space, and just sweeps it with that left boot. Not the best of finishes. Darlow was diving, couldn't get on the end of it. Couldn't get a clean connection to save it. And Dijksteel gives Middlesbrough the early lead in the second half. Leeds 0, Middlesbrough 1. Michael Carrick's side, who've hung in there a lot of the first half come out and started to take control of this game. They ended the half the better side, and they've started the second half certainly the better of the two teams, and they now lead in this one. Wonderful goal. But again, from a Leeds point of view, far too easy, far too kind of simple. And when I talked about it, about Leeds, something they needed to reflect on in that first half is defending out of possession. When they're out of possession, they look really vulnerable. And here come Middlesbrough again. Dijksteel! And the shot is hit behind from Bergzorg. They had two chances at it. Really good break down the right hand side again. It's Gilbert battling with a challenge. Nice ball picked up. Fed into Dijksteel by Isaiah Jones and cuts it back into the box. Bergzorg on the end of it. Strike saved by Darlow, and then the follow up is put behind for the goal kick. But Middlesbrough certainly dominating so far in this second half and deservedly lead, and probably should have a second. Goodness me. But as I was saying, when they're out of possession, Leeds look so vulnerable, so kind of weak and so open. It was a concern at times last season against the upper teams, the top opposition for Daniel Farke's sides. They were too open out of possession. When they're dominating the game, they can completely run the show. They're really good at holding the ball, keeping the ball, and not looking vulnerable while they're on the ball and while they're pushing up the field and pressing a team into their own half. But when a team battles back and isn't afraid to push Leeds back, isn't afraid to press them, that's when Leeds start to struggle. When they come in a face-to-face battle with the opposition, that's when Leeds find it hard. We saw it against Portsmouth at the weekend. We're seeing it again here tonight. It's not the start of the season they would have wanted. 2 home games, they would have wanted 2 wins to get them off to a good flow. It's not over yet, of course not, but finding themselves behind is certainly not where they want to be in this game. As Bamford battling with the ball back there with Matthew Clark ultimately gives away the foul. Does Patrick Bamford. And a free kick goes the way of Middlesbrough, and rightfully so. Just both scuffling with each other, and Bamford just shoves Matthew Clark over. I mean, it's maybe not major contact, but he does kind of push him over in a sense there. And Patrick Bamford there. I mean, there's no question of his impact here at Leeds United, of course, former Middlesbrough player, but tonight's not been the most effective or the most threatening for Leeds. And to be honest, we take it into consideration what goalkeeper has been tested more, the young debutant or the very experienced Darlow. It's the Leeds keeper, Darlow, that has been tested much more than Solomon Bryn in the Middlesbrough goal. He's been barely tested at all in these 54 minutes, as it's an issue here for one of Middlesbrough's players. Just kicked it out of play and gone down. So another injury stoppage. The second half, as I mentioned, underway in the Super Cup between Real Madrid and Atalanta. Still 0-0 in that one, and still all the same scorelines elsewhere in the Carabao Cup. Sheffield Wednesday winning 2-1 away at Hull, and Plymouth 1 up against Cheltenham at Home Park. Just seeing that again. That goal, it's just not... It's not strong at all from Leeds. Dijksteel just allowed too much time and space to run. And it is just a disappointment, if you could say it from a Leeds point of view, that it was easy, as the man that used to play in this parish is going to be playing as an opposition player here tonight. Luke Ayling. He got a good reception when he entered came out to go on the bench before the game kicked off. Let's see in game what reception he gets, as he's going to come on and replace Aidan Morris here. He's going to get the captain's armband, Luke Ayling. And he does get... I mean, it's pretty positive for Luke Ayling. There's a few applauding. Not many, not everybody. And it's Johnny Howson that's actually made way here. Not Aidan Wilson. Not Aidan Morris, sorry. It is Johnny Howson that's come off. So Luke Ayling takes over the captain's armband from the Middlesbrough captain. And trying to carry his side to a victory over his former side. We have a goal in Poland. Eventually the deadlock is broken between Real Madrid and Atalanta. And you can guess which way it's gone. I said it's been played like a friendly so far. But I'm sure Fede Valverde will not be saying that, because he has just given Real Madrid the lead in the Super Cup in Poland. And the usually unanimated Carlo Ancelotti is a bit animated for once. Very rare that however happens, that the Real Madrid manager is ever punching the air, but he does that time round. And Real Madrid lead by 1-0. The champions of Europe. Spain have had one hell of a summer, winning gold at the Olympics, winning the Euros, and one of their biggest Spanish side. I mean, Barcelona might have a say at that, but their biggest domestic side, winning the Champions League, and now looking to end the summer with a Super Cup victory. And they're in again, and that's a big save by the Atalanta keeper. We'll keep an eye on that one. About 30 minutes to go in that game in Poland. Real Madrid 1, Atalanta 0 in the Super Cup. Leeds have work to do here if they're going to rescue this first round tie against Middlesbrough, trailing by 1-0. And so far, not only in the second half have they struggled to have a shot, they haven't had a shot, Leeds, since the 24th minute of this game. Middlesbrough have had 6 shots, 3 on target in comparison. Leeds without a single shot in the game since the 24th minute. They have really fallen off a cliff in this game. And that was about the point where Middlesbrough started to get more possession, started to get more comfortable in the game and grow into the game a bit more. And it, once again, re-emphasises my point. When Leeds don't have it all their own way, they don't have the possession, when they're not dominating the opposition and pushing them back into their own half, when they are asked a few questions, they do struggle. As Bamford tries to run in behind. Again, he felt he was fouled there, but the referee saw nothing wrong with it. There's a physical tussle up there as Leeds do keep the ball. Ampadu want to keep their attacks going. Here's Rodon. Now finds Peru. Out to the right-hand side. Better from Leeds. Left-footed ball into the box. Luke Ayling to head it away. Rodon to flick it back out to Byram on the right-hand side. Rodon now to Verber. It looked like Pascal Stroik, the centre-back, was warming up on the sidelines for Leeds. No hint of a substitution incoming for Leeds at the moment, but I'm sure Daniel Farker's not too far away from making that 1 or 2 changes at least to re-energise his side. Up front they've looked pretty flat, not only in the second half, but as I said, the final 15-20 minutes of that first half they looked a bit flat up front. Unable to keep the ball in the final third, but that ball infield again given away, and now the ball in behind is broke past Ampadu, and Middlesbrough want to double their lead. They get the advantage of the deflection, and it is 2-0. Just as Leeds try to wrestle back a bit of control on the break, Bergzorg making the run in behind and getting the benefit of poor Leeds defending again. Gets the break of the ball, gets the benefit of the deflection on the shot. It takes it past Carl Darlow. And now Daniel Farker's Leeds have a real mountain to climb inside another half an hour of this game. Otherwise, their second round exit of last season is going to be eclipsed with a first round home exit this season. Leeds United 0, Middlesbrough 2, and it is not Really, it's terrible defending. And it's unfortunate for the keeper, who can't do anything about the deflection. There's nothing he can do there. But again, it's just really weak again from Leeds. Two very stoppable, avoidable goals. But they look to be exiting at the first round tonight, unless they will find a way to come back into this one. At the moment, as we hit the hour mark, it's Leeds 0, Middlesbrough 2. And as I said, the last time Middlesbrough won on this ground 13 years ago, almost 13 years to the day, in 2011. They won by 1-0. And this will be a huge result for them. It will give them a lot of confidence going into the rest of the season. An early cup win away at Elland Road will be a massive motivator for the league campaign. And now Daniel Farker, I think, is making 5 changes all at once. There are 5 players ready to come on, and Leeds again have given the ball away, and they're in once again. Middlesbrough, here's Isaiah Jones, wants to finish it, but Darlow closes him down, and the ball goes behind. But Leeds United again, all over the place. Again, they've pushed so far high. I mean, there's no structure at all. They've pushed so far high, and then the pace of Middlesbrough on the counter-attack is killing them at the minute. Isaiah Jones with a bursting pace down the right-hand side. And again, it's just one pass. Far too easy. And there's no wonder that Daniel Farke is making a lot of changes all at once. Jorginho Ruter's come on. Wilfred Nonto's come on. There's lots coming on. Pascal Sturrock's coming on. Ilya Gruev is also coming on. I mean, and also Jayden Bogle is coming on. So, if I count that right, that's 5 changes all at once. Sturrock, Gruev, Nonto, Bogle and Ruter all on for Leeds. All at the one time. I've never seen 5 changes made at once before, but I've seen it here, and it is in dire need for Leeds, because they could have found themselves dead and buried in this game in the last few minutes. And Carl Darlow, who's just made a big save, is down receiving treatment, so there's a stoppage. We can tell you that Plymouth have really taken control of that game at home park. They have scored 2 further goals in the space of a couple of minutes, and they lead by 3-0. Ryan Hardy and Mustafa Bundu have scored the 2 goals in the final 10 minutes that give Plymouth a 3-0 lead. So it looks like Plymouth will be heading through to the second round and knocking out League 2 Cheltenham, after it looked to be a struggle after the first half ended 0-0. But they've come out in the second half, Plymouth, and just had the better of the quality of the two sides, and have got, surely, their place in the second round secured. And the draw for the second round, as I mentioned, we will have live here in LFS. We'll be bringing you through it right as every ball is pulled from the bucket or the hat or whatever they pull it from, the box, whatever it is. We will have every single result for you. The north section and the south section are split draws, so very different, and we will see what comes of that. We have a goal in Poland, and it was going to be sooner rather than later, but the man that made the big move from PSG to Real Madrid finally has his competitive debut for Real Madrid, has opened his account for Real Madrid. It is Kylian Mbappe has doubled Real Madrid's lead in Poland tonight in the Super Cup. Fede Valverde gave them the lead before Kylian Mbappe has now doubled that lead. It is Real Madrid 2, Atalanta 0. Gasparini's absolutely... I mean, he's Gasparini'd in a sense. Completely incensed at that. Confirm for you, Aronson, Gelhardt and Verber have all come off. There are 3 of those changes for Leeds. Also off as well, Byram and Junior Fairpo. So Verber, Gelhardt, Aronson, Byram and Fairpo all off. Bogle, Gruyev, Ruter, Nonto and Stroik all on. Those are the 5 changes confirmed for Leeds in the last few minutes. What a way to try and energise your side. Completely change almost half of your team in one go. As he's Isaiah Jones and the ball falls to him. And that is in from Coburn. And that should be it. Leeds again. They've made all those changes, but literally seconds after the game got back underway, Middlesbrough have surely put this one to bed. And Leeds, they got away with it a moment or two ago when Darlow made a big save from Isaiah Jones. But Jones ultimately heavily involved in this one again. Again, it's poor from Leeds, giving it away cheaply in the middle. Break down the right hand side. Gilbert with a lovely ball in field into the inside for Isaiah Jones. Just see it again. He has his shot deflected and it falls to the path of Josh Coburn, who's there to tap it into an empty net. Too much for Darlow to try and get anywhere near, and that is certainly a real killer for Leeds United. But there is no doubt that they have been absolutely awful in the last few minutes, and they deservedly trail by this scoreline because they've been so open, so exposed, so naive defensively, and out of possession. It's been really dreadful, and they now find themselves 3-0 down with more than a mountain to climb. It's Mount Everest that's that big of a mountain they need to climb. They've got a lot of time to do so. There's still a quarter of this game to go, so still time. But I'm sure they would have wanted to come back from 3-0, or 2-0 rather than 3-0, or even 1-0. But nonetheless, they deserve all they've got so far as they try and counter themselves now. And Luke Ealing's going to get a yellow card for his late challenge on his return to Elland Road. The man with the armband for Middlesbrough finds himself in the book. Jorginho Ruter, the one that's taken out. It's a collision with Ruter and Nonto there. And Luke Ealing taking no risks. And the experience of Luke Ealing just knows, take a cynical foul there, just not allow Leeds to try and get one back instantly. The crowd are subdued, and that's the way they want to keep it, Middlesbrough. Rothwell to deliver into the box from this free kick. Again headed away with a follow-up. It's gone all the way through. He hits the wall and hits a wall of bodies in there and goes behind. Goodness me. Rothwell with a delivery to the back post. Headed away back out into Piru's path, and Piru has the shot. Hits a Middlesbrough player in there and then it's poked behind for a goal kick to Middlesbrough, as they're going to make changes now. So changes incoming for Middlesbrough. They surely feel that they can rest a few players now, take a few players off. At 3-0, it's not a confirmed victory, of course, but they will feel much more comfortable about the situation right now. As these changes incoming then. As Bergzog, who scored the second goal for Middlesbrough, and Lukas Engel also coming off for Middlesbrough. They've been replaced by Finn Azaz and so far tonight George McCormick. So George McCormick and Finn Azaz are on for Middlesbrough. "20 minutes to go at Elland Road. Leeds 0, Middlesbrough 3 at this moment in time. Leeds have one of the toughest tasks they will have this season in trying to come back from this position. Even to get penalties out of the game would take 3 goals without response. But here's Wilfred Nonto. He can certainly help them towards that. Nonto chops back inside, turning Gilbert inside out as he cuts it back into the box. Ruter keeps it alive. Lifts it to the back post. Not fully cleared away. Gruev couldn't find a teammate. Nice challenge by Ampadu, but again, Middlesbrough couldn't keep the ball, and now they've got bodies on the counter. Here's Azaz. Has it closed down, and Rothwell will pick it back up for Leeds. Certainly got the crowd going all of a sudden. Gruev. Well, as I said, these two have shared quite high score lines before. Leeds winning 4-3 at the Riverside and 3-2 here last season in those two meetings. It's 12 goals between the two sides in the last two meetings. They've already had 3 tonight, and Middlesbrough won another! And that one just narrowly wide. Coburn again heavily involved. Had that shot just across the 6-yard box, very narrowly wide of that left post. Beautiful weighted ball in behind, and Coburn makes the run off the back of Joe Rodon. Just gets in front of him and just strikes it from the narrow angle. It's just curling away from goal. And Carl Darlow does just get a fingertip to it. Goes behind, goes out the other side for a throw-in on the left-hand side. I mean, 4 would certainly kill it off massively. As here's Dijksteel with a chance over the bar. They're getting so many they're getting so many opportunities, Middlesbrough. You would be a fool to bet against them getting a 4th, because every time that they move the ball, Leeds are just nowhere to be seen. Defensively, it's so naive, so weak, so vulnerable, so exposed. I mean, whatever you want to call it. It's dreadful from Leeds. Even if they feel that they can come back from this position, which is as hard as could be, but do they deserve it? Do they deserve to just... They probably deserve to just be on the end of a drubbing tonight and a moment to learn. Well, they head to a difficult, tough task on Saturday. They're back in action Saturday lunchtime, Leeds. And they head to the Hawthorns. They take on West Brom. The Baggies also lost. They lost in the first round last night away to Fleetwood of League 2. Leeds want to avoid a first round exit, but at the moment it's a tough task of trying to do that. They want to get their first win of the season. It would be their first competitive win if they were to lose here tonight, which seems likely. They are looking for that first win of the domestic season away to West Brom at the weekend. Middlesbrough, they also head away. They head to Derby. Derby with their first home league game of the campaign at the weekend. That's also at Saturday at 12:30. Here's Wilfred Nonto looking to step in himself. Plays it across. Rothwell with a shot well charged down at the edge of the box. And then as Bogle, it's the one that tries to win it back. And he's actually flagged for offside. Again, another breakdown in control there from Leeds. As we do have the first result of the night. Plymouth are through to the second round. They've beaten Cheltenham by 3-0. The Championship side getting their first win under Wayne Rooney this evening. They really chalk and cheese, although albeit very different opponents in their two games to start the season. 4-0 defeat at Sheffield Wednesday at the weekend, and a 3-0 win at home to Cheltenham of League 2 this evening in the first round of the Carabao Cup. Still ongoing at the MKM Stadium, by the way, between Hull and Sheffield Wednesday. It is Hull 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2. They're in the 90th minute there. Hull are really pushing. They've been pushing for the majority of the second half for an equaliser, but have not found it yet. There hasn't been a goal in that game. They had all the goals of the early moments, and there hasn't been a goal since the 10th minute. So a long time since we've seen a goal at the MKM Stadium. They had all the action of the first 10 minutes of the night. And with 15 to go here at Elland Road, another Leeds free kick and another yellow card coming out as well. It will be Alexander Gilbert that gets the yellow card for Middlesbrough. It's all about not allowing Leeds to kind of garner a rhythm late in the game. They get one that'll get the crowd up. They want to try and push for a second straight after that, and then you never know what could happen. The game could turn into a craze fest, but The one thing I would worry about, I wouldn't put it past Leeds to score 3 goals in the final 15 minutes. It's just whether they don't concede in the final 15 minutes. That's the bigger question. That's a ball over the top. Again, Bamford was looking for the ball over the top and just a bit ahead of him. But since the start of last season, Leeds have won just once out of the last 5 home games. In the previous 22, though, they were unbeaten. 16 wins out of their previous 22. So it just shows that fortress that Elland Road had become last season really fell away towards the end of last season, and it's certainly not been picked back up at the start of this campaign. Here's Ruter. Has to come deeper to keep the ball, and again isolated again, not allowed a pass, not given an option. Gruev tries to win it back, a bit scrambly in the middle. Middlesbrough do keep the ball for the moment. Barlaser, Gilbert, Dijksteel has to go back to his keeper as Leeds try and press. Clark into Morris in midfield. Good play from Middlesbrough again. Azaz to Dijksteel. Now played on to Gilbert. Just look really comfortable playing from back to front at the moment, Middlesbrough. Here's Coburn. Back to Gilbert as the Olays are being sung by the Middlesbrough fans inside Elland Road. And another free kick goes the way of Middlesbrough. Gilbert there fouled. Have to say, some Middlesbrough fans made it known that they weren't particularly excited about tonight's game. Of course, they believed in their side, but they certainly wouldn't have believed you if they had said they would have been 3-0 up with just over 10 minutes to go and completely cruising. But that's the truth, and that's exactly what's happened as they have another pop shot there from the edge of the box. And it's gone out for a throw, actually. They didn't want to give away the goal kick. They kicked it that far wide. They wanted to give Leeds a throw in their own half. That deep. I mean, at the moment, Middlesbrough just... They don't need to do very much now, Middlesbrough. They're 3-0 up. They're cruising. They're comfortable. If Leeds are going to do something, they need to do it quick. Very quick. But at this point, do they even believe... I mean, they would if they get 1 goal, but at the moment, it doesn't look likely. Although I'll say that when they do score. That'll be always the way. Here's Gruev. Ampadu. Through the lines again. Middlesbrough have it crowded out as Gilbert picks it up and tries to go on the counter. Coburn again. Look at this. Coburn up against Rodon. He's got bodies around him. Well closed down ultimately there. And Leeds on the cover. And Coburn penalised for a foul there on Ethan Ampadu. As Leeds wanted to take the free kick quickly, but the referee saying no chance. Less than 10 minutes to go in Poland this evening between Real Madrid and Atalanta in the Super Cup, and it looks like Real Madrid are going to be lifting another trophy this evening with just 7 minutes to go. It is Real Madrid 2, Atalanta 0. Real Madrid scored the goal scorer of those goals, Fede Valverde and Kylian Mbappe. One of very many that Mbappe will score at Real Madrid. I am sure of that. This is just about 10 minutes to go here at Elland Road. And if Leeds are going to do this mad comeback, it will be a miracle at the very least of a comeback. But never say never at Elland Road. Genuinely, never say never. As Middlesbrough are going to make another double change at this moment. Isaiah Jones is going to have an end to his night. And also, Josh Coburn is going to have his night curtailed this evening. Coburn scoring the 3rd goal. Isaiah Jones setting up the 3rd goal. Inadvertently, but he did set it up. Michael Hamilton is coming on loan from Manchester City. bought from Manchester City, apologies, for £3.5 million, Micah Hamilton. And Emmanuel Lath is coming on. So Isaiah Jones and Coburn off, and Hamilton and Lath are coming on. Final score from the MKM Stadium. Hull have been beaten by Sheffield Wednesday by 2-1. Great start to the season for Sheffield Wednesday. 2 wins from 2 in their start to the domestic campaign. And they're through to the second round of the Carabao Cup. And they will be in the north section of that one. Sheffield Wednesday, ball number 25. Looks like Middlesbrough will be joining. They will be ball number 26. The winner of this tie we're watching. And the winner, Plymouth, of course, who have won against Cheltenham, are ball number 24 in the south section of the second round draw, which, as I mentioned, will be coming up shortly after the full-time whistle here at Elland Road. We'll take you through all the results from the first round as Leeds back into the box. Nonto will pick it up. He just miscontrols it as Bamford played it back to him. Again, it just seems to be not Leeds' night tonight. Considering the way they started the game, they were dominant, they were in control, they were all over Middlesbrough. But they just fell away after 25 minutes and they've gone missing. Someone putting on a missing poster because Leeds have been nowhere near what we know they're capable of in this second half alone. Nonto, Bogle, now Ruter. Ruter with a shot off the inside of the post, and then the header rebounded wide from Peru. Goodness me, if that is the example of it not being Leeds' day, goodness me. That shot on the inside from Jorginho Ruter hit the inside of the post, bounced back out, rebounded onto the head of Joel Peru, who just nodded it past the post for a goal kick. 2 big moments. And if one of those had a win in, maybe this crowd would have been buoyed, but maybe they do believe now, Leeds, that they maybe can nick something late on here as Bamford just about lets go with that one. Again, nice idea in behind. Nonto, again, just can't get past his man. Gilbert, now Dijksteel, turns back in. Comes all the way back, and Middlesbrough confident on the ball once more. They break out of the press from Leeds. And now, if the Olays weren't hard enough on the Leeds fans at home this evening, the Middlesbrough fans are now singing, "Can we play you every week?" A bit tongue-in-cheek, but can we play you every week? King shithousery, as they say. All in the manner of banter. It's not the EFL without a banterous chant, is it? 5 minutes to go of normal time here at Elland Road. Leeds 0, Middlesbrough 3. Don't forget the Premier League is back. The new season gets underway on Friday nights as we watch Manchester United take on Fulham at Old Trafford. That's Friday 8 o'clock as the new Premier League season gets off and running. Join us from 7:45 and the kickoff at Old Trafford 8 o'clock on Friday. Of course, also on Friday we will have the Premier League titles coming out on the channel, so you can the newly updated Premier League opening titles for the new season. Plus, we'll have the Match Week 1 Premier League predictions. We will do them every week. The Friday before each match week of the Premier League, we will have our predictions, some match predictions, and you can get involved as well on our Shorts channel and on TikTok as well. Leeds again try and whip ball into the box, but again, hopeful ball, far too far ahead of Wilfred Nonto. And another wasted attack for Leeds United there. I mean, one thing that I think Leeds will be worried about, not the fact they haven't scored tonight, of course that'll be a worry, but the fact that in 2 games, both home games of the new season, they've conceded 3 goals in each game. 6 in total in 2 home games at the start of the new season is most certainly not the start that they would have wanted. It's most certainly not the kind of confident start to a campaign defensively that they want, considering they had one of the best defences in the Championship last season. Yes, the fact that Portsmouth, newly promoted side, an unknown quantity, but tonight against a team very well matched. Yes, Leeds did make 8 changes from the weekend, and that has to be taken into consideration, but still a decently strong Leeds side, well capable of competing and attacking, just have looked haphazard after 25 minutes, and incredibly open out of possession, incredibly vulnerable, incredibly exposed, just all over the place. As Ruter tries to have a shot, again deflected, cleared away by Dijksteel. But worrying signs defensively for Leeds, not only going forward, but defensively. And look, maybe defeat in the cup. I mean, sometimes we say first round, it's not great for team confidence, of course not. But what it can be is a kind of concession early in the season. Cup's out of the way, forget about the cup. Let's put full focus on the league now, because that's until the FA Cup gets underway a bit later in the year, and Leeds will be involved in the FA Cup a bit later in the campaign. In January, I believe, in the 3rd round of the FA Cup, they will join us and join the FA Cup. So that will be their focus in the second half of the year. But at least if they lose, which of course it looks likely now, in the first round of the Carabao Cup, they can have full focus on the league between now and Christmas. And look, it's going to be a tough spell. It's going to be a tough kind of run, because Leeds' next couple of games, they have their next 2 games are both away from home in the Championship. On Saturday lunchtime they head to West Brom. Then the weekend after that, they're at Friday night football. Sheffield Wednesday away for Leeds. Then Hull at home, Burnley at home, Cardiff away, and Coventry away until the end of September. So the next 6 fixtures are not easy fixtures, not very easily winnable fixtures. I mean, Burnley's a tough one, albeit at home. Sheffield Wednesday away, they've got off to a good start this season. West Brom looking for a response from their exit of the Cup last night. So it's not going to be a plain sailing for Leeds in the coming games. And we'll see how they kind of deal with that. Middlesbrough, on the other hand, looking to get off to 2 wins. And they've got Derby away, Portsmouth at home, Cardiff away, Preston at home. The next 3, they'll be looking to win as well. Away to Derby, tough game, but they'll look to win that. Portsmouth at home, again, a newly promoted side. And then Cardiff, one of the sides expected to be relegated this season, or at least be in a relegation fight, away from home. Not an easy game, but a winnable game, certainly for Middlesbrough. Just shows you the difference in the way you look at the upcoming fixtures for these 2 teams, just on the basis of how they've started the season. It really can change the optics of how you look at it. These 2, before a ball was kicked about 6 days ago, were regarded as the top 2 in the Championship. Well, tonight, if there was any conversation as to who would be the top team, it looks like on the basis of head-to-head, it's Middlesbrough. They look the much more sharp, the much more in control, and the much better looking team in terms of quality at this moment in time. And that is kind of what we look at. 8 added minutes at the end of the 90 here. So, I mean, is that really necessary? I don't know. For the little amount of fans, although there is a number of Leeds fans still in the stadium, maybe they believe, I don't know, or maybe just want to support their side to the very death. Ruter with the ball in, just a bit too high, and Solomon Bryn maybe taking the mickey out of the Leeds team now, because he's just come and gathered that one and done a Jordan Pickford. in gathering that. 8 added minutes, as I said. The final whistle has gone in Poland, and Real Madrid again will be lifting another trophy tonight. They did it back in the start of June when they won the Champions League, and that new man, Kylian Mbappe, getting started with a win and with a goal tonight in Poland, and he'll see his La Liga debut at the weekend on Sunday night, surely, as the Real Madrid fans, the Madridistas, are bouncing once again. So, Real Madrid winners of the Super Cup. You could have predicted it, but Atalanta gave them a good fight, but Real Madrid came through on top, as they more than often do. And it certainly keeps that run of Spanish sides in finals ongoing anyway. An incredible, unbelievable 25-game run, I think it is now, in finals of competitions, where Spanish sides just coming out the better of the two teams at all levels. On those accounts, as there's another free kick here, a bit of frustration from Pascal Stroik, just shoving his man, and he gets a yellow card. Yeah, he just shoves his man, and that's just unnecessary from Pascal Stroik on that occasion. Do stay with us, by the way. We do have the second round draw coming up for you shortly after the final whistle here. We will, of course, talk about this result. We'll also bring you through all of the scores and all the results of the 35 ties in total from the first round of the Carabao Cup before the second round draw takes place. Here's Wilfred Donto. Working down the left, will win Leeds a corner. Maybe a consolation is what Leeds are pushing for later on here. Donto to take the corner. Flicked on in the box, but Gruev trying to keep it in play. He does. Here's Rothwell. Out to the right hand side it comes. Gruev to deliver into the box. Flicked on. And easily gathered by Bryn there from Pirou's header. Again, it just looks like it's just not Leeds' night tonight, and they could probably play until sunrise tomorrow morning and still not score. It seems to be that night for them, and again I say it's just take it as a learning point that, you know, very disappointing defensive start to the season. 6 goals in 2 games conceded. It's not a good start defensively for Leeds, especially 2 home games on top of that. But a lot for Daniel Farker to work on in the next couple of days. Won't have much training time before they head to West Brom for Saturday lunchtime kickoff, so a quick turnaround. And they do have next midweek off, Leeds. And they'll have the midweek off after that, because that was when the second round of the Carabao Cup was played. They'll have 2 midweeks to really get into the training ground and figure things out. What has gone wrong in these last 2 games for Leeds that has them so open at the back in both games against Portsmouth and against Middlesbrough here tonight. They do have a free kick, Leeds. 3 minutes of the 8 added on still to play. Gruev over this free kick. Whistle goes. 30 yards out. Gruev with a shot. Bounces in the box and goes wide. Looked like it was always curling away from goal. It was. It's never going to test Bryn at all there. It was always curling away from goal. Never a threat for the Middlesbrough keeper. No Gayling there. Of course, mentioned it multiple times tonight. Former Leeds player. Long ball forward from Middlesbrough. They're just cruising at the moment. I mean, Middlesbrough probably allowing Leeds to have more possession now because they could pretty much walk off the pitch now and it'll be impossible for Leeds to score. 3 goals anyway. 2 minutes to go. And it's just going to be a real sobering night for Leeds. A tough one to take, but not much they can really argue with. They have been nowhere since the 25th minute of this game, and I mean, it's been pretty hopeless. They got off to a really good start, Leeds, but once Middlesbrough started to get a grip of the game, they just fell away and have not returned. Corner for Leeds on the right hand side then. Left footed delivery into the box and headed away at the front post. Will be delivered once again into the box, flicked on, and there we go. Again, another example of Leeds' night. It's just not their night. Ball into the box, flicked on, and Peru at the back post has the goal gaping, and as he stretches for it, the ball bounces away from him. I mean, honestly, they've had multiple chances, but it's just not their night. It's just not the time for them. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Coming up, the second round draw live here on LFS for you this evening. One not to miss. As I said, we'll bring you through all the results from the first round and also take a look at the ball numbers once again, pick out some key teams to look out for this evening in the draw. Of course, split into 2 sections, the north section and the south section. Long ball forward, Bamford absolutely rifled that one behind. And that is the final whistle. I'm sure a lot of Leeds fans happy to hear that whistle. Middlesbrough are through to the second round of the Carabao Cup. Leeds failed to progress past the second round in the last campaign. Well, this campaign they've gone one worse, and they are out at the first round, the first time of asking, and convincingly so. Dijksteel opened the scoring in the start of the second half. Bergzorg doubled Middlesbrough's lead 10 minutes later. Before 7 minutes after that, Josh Coburn certainly put the final nail in the Leeds United coffin tonight. It's been a pretty dull performance from Leeds United, well below par and just not at the level. Middlesbrough, contrastingly, top tier. They probably struggled in the early moments, Middlesbrough, but they got to grips with the game, and they certainly did not give anything back to Leeds, who tonight were really not at the level, and deservedly out at the first time of asking. So, final score from Elland Road. It is Leeds United 0, Middlesbrough 3. And there we are. That is the confirmation then of tonight's results. Hull also beaten at home, so not only Leeds, they've got Hull as kind of buddies who have been beaten at home tonight. Sheffield Wednesday winning once again, 2 wins from 2 for Danny Roll in the job there for Sheffield Wednesday, winning by 2-1 away at Hull City, and Plymouth getting their first win under Wayne Rooney after their 4-0 defeat to Sheffield Wednesday at the weekend, 3-0 victors against League 2 Cheltenham. So 2 championship sides out in Hull and Leeds, and the League 2 side Cheltenham joining them as Sheffield Wednesday, Plymouth and Middlesbrough all book their places in the second round of the Carabao Cup, the draw for which is coming up very, very shortly. They're also doing the trophy presentation in Poland as Real Madrid, again the winners of the Super Cup for 2024. They're the 2024 Champions League winners, and they have added the Super Cup to that list of incredible amount of trophies that Real Madrid have won. They are immortal in Europe. Atalanta won the Europa League, but they're not going to be adding the Super Cup to that list tonight after they were beaten 2-0. Fede Valverde and Kylian Mbappe, the goal scorers there in that one tonight in Poland, that sees Real Madrid Super Cup champions. Right, we'll be back to round up all of the first round ties and results before the draw gets underway very shortly. Do stay with us here on LFS. Welcome back to Carabao Cup Live. The first round has concluded. 35 ties down and 35 teams have made it through. 15 other teams join them for the second round. 13 teams from the Premier League not involved in European competitions, and 2 teams from the Championship in Luton and Burnley. So we'll look at the ball numbers very, very shortly ahead of the second round draw and pick out some key teams, some key people, key matchups to look forward to. But let's bring you through all of the results from the first round, because it's been a busy last 24 hours or so, and to keep you up to date with all that. Hopefully the draw isn't too long away, because we don't want to be hanging around much longer than we need to this evening. Let's start with last night's results then. Stoke City put their place into the second round after they won away at Carlisle in the early kickoff. Freddie Anderson and Emre Tezgel gave Stoke the win last night. The Championship side knocking out Carlisle United. Leyton Orient won 4-1 at home, a convincing victory for them against Newport County. 2 goals in the first half, 2 in the second half, either side of a James Clark goal for Newport. It ended up being just a consolation, as Leyton Orient are through. Blackburn made easy work of Stockport County, as Stockport were beaten convincingly 6-1 at home. Blackburn had cruised into a 4-0 lead inside the first 30 minutes, Sammy Schmodics putting his name to 2 of those goals, before a second half own goal from Blackburn gave Stockport a consolation, before Mac Targay and Jack Veal scored the 5th and 6th goals to book Blackburn's place in the second round. Barrow also got their way through in their tie against Port Vale at home. Barrow 3-2 victors there. It was 1 apiece at half time before actually Vale took the lead through Thomas Sang. A comeback for Barrow as Emil Aqua and Ben Jackson scored the 2 goals that ultimately secured victory for Barrow. Bolton joined them. They were the 5th team to progress. They needed penalties to get past Mansfield last night. Bolton, who were beaten by Middlesbrough in the 2004 final, if there's any link there, they drew 1-1 last night in the 90 minutes. They took the lead before an 83rd minute equaliser for Mansfield brought it to penalties. It went 7 penalties each were taken. Bolton missed 2 of theirs and Mansfield missed 3. It went to sudden death, and Mansfield missed their 7th penalty of the shootout, Bolton winning by 5 penalties to 4. Coventry needed just 1 goal to beat Bristol City as they booked their place into the second round. Ellis Sims, the goal scorer, the only goal scorer of the game at Ashton Gate last night, as Coventry progressed. Also an away victory against debutants Bromley for AFC Wimbledon. Bromley took the lead. Levi Amanchi will go down in history as the first man to ever score in the League Cup for Bromley in their history, as they made their debut last night. But it was a short-lived debut. Josh Kelly levelled for Wimbledon before Joe Pigott scored the ultimate winner to send Wimbledon through. Blackpool made an easy work in the end against Burton. They were the last team to break the deadlock in their tie last night. Ryan Sweeney, with a professional handball, was sent off for Burton after 11 minutes. It was goalless at half-time before 4 second-half goals in the final 20 minutes secured Blackpool's place in the second round. A 4-0 victory for them as they progress. QPR needed an away victory away at Cambridge to progress to the second round. 2 goals from QPR in the first half as they cruised into a 2-0 lead. Michael Frey and Paul Smith with both goals. Paul Digby's goal made it a bit nervy for the Rangers just before the final whistle. Cambridge going home, QPR are going out, QPR going through. Cardiff, after their defeat at the weekend to Sunderland, well, it was a reversed result for them. They were beaten 2-0 at home. Well, they won 2-0 at home last night. They beat Bristol Rovers by 2-0. It did take a long time to find the opener. 68th minute before Mark McGuinness put Cardiff ahead, before Ruben Colwell scored the second in the 91st to secure victory for the Welsh side as they progress to the second round. Birmingham needed just 1 goal to get past Charlton, but Charlton Athletic actually had a goal chance for themselves inside 13 minutes after Tyrese Campbell had a penalty saved by the Birmingham keeper Ryan Alsop. Then about 15 minutes later, Brandon Kella opened the scoring for Birmingham, and that was enough to see them through. Birmingham actually went down to 10 for the final 15 minutes. That could have made it nervy. Dion Sanderson with the second yellow, but Charlton didn't find a goal as they head out, and Birmingham head through. Colchester and Reading was a close tie, but Reading, one of the Championship sides, or one of the League One sides, knocked out last night in their tie away at Colchester. Tom Hopper opened the scoring for Colchester before they got into a double their lead through Jack Payne's penalty in the second half. Charlie Savage then got one back for Reading before an equaliser from Lewis Wing brought it to penalties. Colchester then needed only 4 penalties to progress. Reading took first and missed their 5th penalty to be knocked out. Colchester won by 4 penalties to 3. Crawley scored 4 goals last night to progress against Swindon. 1-0 after half time before they went 2-0 up. Did Crawley through Jack Rolls. Nadami Aforba got one back before Will Wright missed a penalty, and that was followed up by Harry Smith to make it 2-2 before Jack Rolls and Rafiq Khalil in the last 2 minutes of the game secured the victory for Crawley Town and put Swindon out. Derby had to come from behind against League 2 Chesterfield. Armando Dobra gave Chesterfield the lead. Liam Thompson levelled for Derby just before half-time before Caden Jackson, with 20 minutes to go, gave Derby the victory to progress to the second round. Fleetwood had the upset of the night last night. The biggest upset of the first round as they put out Championship West Brom. League 2 Fleetwood actually had to come from behind to win that game. Mo Fall gave the Baggies an early lead in that one before Ryan Graydon levelled after 12 minutes. And in the 33rd minute, Ronan Coughlin got the ultimate winner for Fleetwood Town as they knocked out West Brom. A second successive first round knockout for West Brom in the League Cup. Grimsby and Bradford took us all the way to penalties, and they took us a long distance in penalties last night. It was 1-1 after 90 minutes. Donovan Wilson gave Grimsby the lead before Bradford levelled through Andy Cook in the final 15 minutes. It was penalties. It was then, in the end, 10 penalties taken apiece, and ultimately Grimsby winning by 9 penalties to 8. They missed their very first penalty, Grimsby, but ultimately Bradford missed 2 of their 10 penalties, which sent them out. 9-8 on penalties it finished to Grimsby. Easier work for Huddersfield against Morecambe as they cruised into a 3-0 lead. Jaheim Headley, Callum Marshall and Daniel Ward all gave them a 3-0 half-time scoreline. They kind of stepped off the mark, Huddersfield, in the second half. They still dominated, but couldn't add to the goals. And Caden Harrick's second yellow made it even more difficult for Morecambe, but Huddersfield ended with a 3-0 victory. Lincoln and Harrogate was the next tie, and Lincoln find themselves 2-0 down in the second half. It was 0-0 at the break. Sam Folarin and James Daly gave them a 2-goal lead. Harrogate before Lincoln did make it a bit nervy with an 85th minute penalty from Jovan Makama in the 85th minute to bring Lincoln back into the game, but it wasn't enough to rescue a draw or even penalty shootout as Lincoln head home and Harrogate head through. Another away victory as Wycombe beat Northampton. Wycombe beaten by Wrexham in League 1 at the weekend, but bounced back with a cup victory. Daniel Udo and a Luke Mbete own goal had Wycombe 2-0 up at half-time, and that was to be it. They did go down to 10 in the second half, Alex Hartridge, but it wasn't enough for Northampton to get back into the game. Norwich had a ding-dong match at Carrow Road against Stevenage. In their tie, Abu Kamara gave Norwich the lead. Charlie Good levelled before Onel Hernandez retook the lead for Norwich, before again Lucas Apere levelled things before half-time for Stevenage. Borja Sainz and Onel Hernandez back-to-back gave Norwich a 2-goal lead, before a late own goal from Brad Hills made it nervy for Norwich, but they did get their first win of the domestic season with a 4-3 victory over League 2 Stevenage at Carrow Road. Well, Oxford, who beat Norwich at the weekend in the Championship, they got their second successive home win of the new season as Tyler Goodrum and Matt Phillips scored in the first half to secure another 2-0 victory at home for Oxford United, this time against Peterborough United, who offered nothing on the night, and Oxford cruised through to the second round. Just one goal between Portsmouth and Millwall, and it was Millwall that scored the only goal to progress. Roman S. With the goal after 13 minutes gave Millwall the lead. Portsmouth couldn't offer anything up. They must have used all their goals up against Leeds in their trip to Elland Road at the weekend prior, and they exit the cup at the first time of asking. So too do Sunderland, who were also victorious at the weekend. They won 2-0 away at Cardiff. Another away game for Sunderland, but this time to managerless Preston, as Ryan Ledson gave Preston the lead. Mads Froker Jensen doubled Preston's lead to send Sunderland knocked out of the cup at the first time of asking, and you couldn't write it. Preston, without a manager, progressing to the second round. Rotherham also got through to the second round. They had to come from behind. Maciej Holicek gave Crewe the lead in that one in the second half. Sam Nombe levelled things before Hakeem Odoffin, 4 minutes from time, gave Rotherham the victory, the lead, and ultimately the victory. Doncaster made easy work of Salford. Salford 2 home defeats to start the season. 2 home games, 2 home defeats. Billy Sharp opened the scoring for Doncaster Rovers in the first half, before a second goal in the 91st minute from Luke Molyneux secured the victory. Salford have started poorly in the new season. 2 defeats from 2. 2-0 at home to Port Vale at the weekend, and 2-0 against Doncaster in midweek. Shrewsbury and Notts County had a high-scoring game that was a draw. 2 goals from Notts County had them 2-0 up at the break. Conor Grant and Sam Austin gave them a 2-goal lead. Joshua Coyote and Jordan Shipley levelled things before Jordan Shipley then gave Shrewsbury the lead on the night 3-2. Alassana Diatta levelled things once again in the 89th minute for Notts County, which took them to penalties, and ultimately only 5 each were needed, and ultimately in the end Notts County going out 4-3 on penalties. Shrewsbury through. Into our last 6 ties of last night. It's a long list. 26 down, 6 to go. Swansea took on Gillingham last night. Swansea took the lead in that one. Ronald with the goal in the first half. Ewan Williams then was straight red carded for Gillingham for a foul in the second half. That just made it easier for Swansea, it seemed, as Liam Cullen doubled things for Swansea, 2-0 up. Oliver Hawkins got one back 3 minutes from time, before in the 96th minute Azim Abdullahi gave Swansea a third that really wrapped up the victory for the Championship side. Tranmere Rovers had easy work of it at home against Accrington Stanley last night. Harvey Saunders, Josh Williams and Amari Patrick all scoring. Brad Walker even missed a penalty in that one. It was that comfortable for Tranmere as they won by 3-0 to progress. Walsall and Exeter needed penalties to decide a winner there. Exeter took the lead in that one. Melanik Ali opened the scoring. Josh Gordon had a penalty saved, looking to level things for Walsall, before in the 93rd minute they probably got their justice dues. Jamie Giles scoring at an equaliser in the 93rd minute for Walsall, and they ended victorious after penalties. They missed their first penalty, Walsall, but went on to score their next 4 to win 4-3 in the shootout against Exeter City. Watford made easy work of MK Dons Championship side against a League 2 opposition. Matthew Pollock and Tom Ince cruised Watford into a 2-0 lead at half-time. Cadwo Ba, Thomas Ince, and Thomas Ince again. Tom Ince with 3 goals last night, a hat-trick for him against MK Dons, gave Watford 5 goals. Barnsley were the last team that needed penalties out of Wigan last night to progress. Thalo Asgard actually scored a penalty to give Wigan the lead in the first half. Jonathan Pines levelled things for Barnsley before it took to penalties, and Barnsley scored 4 of their 5 to progress, winning 4-2 against Wigan Athletic. And Sheffield United ultimately victorious against Wrexham last night, 4-2. That was our live game. William Boyle gave Wrexham the lead. Austin Trusty levelled things 6 minutes after Wrexham went ahead. Lewis Brunt's own goal then put Sheffield United ahead before Ryan Brewster had his penalty saved, and the rebound followed up by Louis Marsh to extend Sheffield United's lead before Anas Ben Slimani scored the 4th goal for Sheffield United to make it 4-1. Sebastian Revan did get a late consolation for Wrexham to make it a 6-goal thriller at Bramall Lane in that one. And tonight, from our 3 ties, we finally got there. Hull were beaten at home against Sheffield Wednesday. Charlie McNeil opened the scoring for Wednesday in the first minute, for Hull were level through Marvin Mellum in the 9th, before in the 10th minute, literally seconds after the equaliser from Hull, Charlie McNeil then restored the lead for Sheffield Wednesday. Hull were ahead, or were level, for a whole total of 1 minute and 30 seconds in the game to ultimately not be knocked out of the competition. They did push for a late equaliser in that game, but Sheffield Wednesday held out and got the victory. Plymouth made easy work, ultimately in the end, of Cheltenham. It was 0-0 at the break. Ben Waine got a rebounded goal to give him to give Plymouth the lead. Ryan Hardy then doubled the lead before Mustafa Bundu made it 3. And Leeds comprehensively beaten by Middlesbrough tonight. 3-0 victors for Middlesbrough. Dijksteel, Bergzorg and Coburn, the 3 scorers for Middlesbrough against Leeds. So, the draw is on the way in just a moment. We went through all 32 ties, as I promised. And Middlesbrough are going to be joining us for the second round. Of course, the draw is split into the north section and the south section. 26 teams in the north section, 24 teams in the south section. 13 Premier League sides not involved in Europe join us at this stage. Of course, the 2 Championship sides that weren't involved in the first round are also joining us tonight. Right. Let's have a look at the ball numbers then. There's the north section ball numbers. A couple of key teams to look forward to. Everton in ball number 9 there as well. Leicester in the Premier League 14. Nottingham Forest 16. Sheffield United 19. Tranmere 22. Wolves 24. And tonight's winners, Middlesbrough, last season's semi-finalists, number 26. It is the southern side that we draw on first, I'm hearing. So south side goes first. So there you are. So the south will be drawn first. Don't know why, but it is. Plymouth, of course, are the team in that one, ball number 24. There's all the ball numbers. Some key Premier League sides involved in there as well as last season's semi-finalists. Fulham are ball number 11. Let's go then. We're ready for the draw. Who will face who in the second round draw then? So we'll start. We've 12 ties to pick out of the south section. And here we go. The first ball tonight is number 8, Coventry City. They won 1-0 away to Bristol City in round 1. And they will face number 17, Oxford United. They started their season with 2 home victories, 2-0 victories at home in their 2 opening games of the campaign. They progressed past Peterborough last night. Number 20 is next, Swansea City. Swansea winners in 2013, and they were 3-1 winners last night against Gillingham. They will face number 23 Wickham, as they're into round 2 after a 2-0 win away at Northampton. Number 2 is next, Wimbledon. They progressed last night as well. They beat debutants Bromley. And Wimbledon will face Premier League Ipswich in the second round. Kieran McKenna's side heading to Wimbledon. Number 3 is next in Birmingham. They won 1-0 away to Charlton, League One side, relegated last season to the Championship. They faced number 11, Premier League Fulham, another Premier League side on the road. Last season's semi-finalists, beaten by the eventual winners Liverpool. 21 is Watford. They won 5-0 last night against MK Dons. 2 wins to start the season for Watford. And they will face number 24, Plymouth. There we go. Tom Cleverley and Wayne Rooney face off each other in the second round. That will be at Vicarage Road. 22 is next. Our first Premier League side drawn at home is West Ham. And they face number 1, Bournemouth. An all Premier League tie. What we love to see. West Ham against Bournemouth. 18 is next, and that's QPR. At home again. We're beaten at home in the Championship, but won away from home last night. And they will face number 14, Luton Town. QPR against Luton, an all-Championship tie there. Luton joining the rounds. They lost 1-0 to Exeter in round 3 last season, Luton. Ball number 5 is next in Brighton. Brighton, of course, lost 1-0 to Chelsea in the third round last season. And they will face number 9, Crawley Town, who beat Swindon 4-2 in the first round. Number 10 is next, that's Crystal Palace. They lost 3-0 to Man United in round 3 last season, Palace. And they will face Norwich in the second round. Norwich City have had a tough start to the season, but won 4-3 last night against League 2 Stevenage. Number 6 is next, and that's Cardiff. They won 2-0 against Bristol Rovers. And Cardiff will face Southampton, the Premier League side promoted from the playoffs. They lost 3-1 to Gillingham in round 1 last season, but they're into round 2 this season. And number 15 is next, that's Millwall. A home draw for Millwall. They won 1-0 away at Portsmouth last night. And they will face unlucky number 13, Leyton Orient. We'll head to the Dan. Orient, 4-1 winners against Newport. And the final 2, number 7 is Colchester. They're at home, and they will face the final ball out of the pack. And that is number 4, Brentford. Brentford, of course, lost 1-0 to Arsenal in round 3 last season. There you go. These are the ties. Coventry take on Oxford. Swansea welcome Wickham. Ipswich head to Wimbledon. Fulham and Birmingham face off at St Andrews. Watford take on Plymouth. An all Premier League tie between West Ham and Bournemouth. QPR and Luton face each other. Crawley head to Brighton. Crystal Palace host Norwich. Cardiff face Southampton. Leyton Orient head to Millwall. And Colchester face Premier League Brentford. Right, the North section is next. Let's have a look at the North section then. There are the North section teams, if I can get that to you. There we are. There's the North section. All the balls in there. A couple of good teams, as I said. Fleetwood, who got the upset of the first round. They're ball number 10. A couple of Premier League sides. The likes of Everton, number 9. 14 Leicester. 15 Newcastle. 16 Nottingham Forest. Sheffield United, who beat Wrexham, they're number 19. And Middlesbrough, who we've watched win tonight, are number 26. Right. Of course, there are 13 ties to draw from this one. So 12 from the South section, 13 from this, 26 teams to look forward to. And the first one out is number 11, Grimsby. Now they won 9-8 on penalties against Bradford last night. And they face number 25, Sheffield Wednesday, who won tonight. But they lost on penalties to Manfield in round 2 last season. Did Sheffield Wednesday, but they're through to the second round. Number 9 are next, and that's Everton. In their final season at Goodison, they've got a home draw in round 2. And they face Doncaster, who they beat in round 2 last season in the reverse of that fixture. Number 3 are next, and that's Blackburn. 2 wins to start their season. 10 goals, sorry. And number 4 is Blackpool. So it's a Blackburn-Blackpool game. Battle of those 2 teams in the second round. Number 10 is next, and that's Fleetwood, as I said. Beat West Brom. West Brom back-to-back first-round exits. And they won 2-1 last night, Fleetwood. They will welcome number 18, Rotherham, who won 2-1 against Crewe in the first round. Next up is number 20, Shrewsbury. They beat Notts County 4-3 on penalties after a 3-3 draw last night. And they will face Bolton. Bolton, of course, beat Mansfield on penalties. Number 16, Nottingham Forest. They're next. They lost 1-0 to Burnley in round 2 last season. And number 15 is Newcastle. An all Premier League tie. Forest against Newcastle. Great battle. Number 2 is next. That's Barrow. They won 3-2 against Port Vale last night to get into the second round. And they face number 7, Derby County. Derby, of course, won 2-1 against League 2 Chesterfield, coming from behind. 14 is next. That's Leicester, newly promoted as Championship champions. They knocked out in round 3 last season to Liverpool. And they face number 22, Tranmere Rovers. So a similar team from around Merseyside for round 2 for Leicester. 26 is next, and that's our winners tonight, Middlesbrough. So the Riverside is the venue for that one, and they face against Stoke in an all-championship tie. Stoke 2-0 win over Carlisle in round 1. Middlesbrough, of course, made it to the semi-finals last year. Number 1 are next, and that's Barnsley. They won on penalties against Wigan last night. And they face number 19, Sheffield United, who beat Wrexham 4-2 at Bramall Lane. Number 12 are next. That's Harrogate Town. They won 2-1 away at Lincoln last night. And they face number 17, Preston. Managersless Preston got that victory over Sunderland in round 1. Number 23 are next. That's Walsall, who also needed penalties to progress. 4-3 against Exeter. And number 13, unlucky number 13, they face Huddersfield. 3-0 winners against Morecambe. The final tie is as follows. The home draw for number 24 is Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolves lost 3-2 to Ipswich in round 3 last season. They're into round 2, and they face number 6 Burnley in a Premier League tie, a Premier League and Championship matchup there. Right, there we go. So that is the 2 north and south section for us there. There's all your setup. 25 ties for round 2, 13 from the north section, 12 from the south section, and a sprinkling of Premier League sides in there as well. Let's point them out for you. Sheffield Wednesday head to Grimsby. Everton welcome Doncaster in a repeat of the second round tie from last season, although Doncaster were the home side on that occasion. Blackpool face Blackburn. Fleetwood welcome Rotherham. Bolton head to Shrewsbury. Nottingham Forest take on Newcastle in an all Premier League tie. Barrow take on Derby. Tranmere head to Premier League Leicester. Middlesbrough face Stoke in an all Championship tie. Sheffield United head to Barnsley. Harrogate welcome Preston. Huddersfield head to Walsall. And Wolves face Burnley. A reminder of the south section, as I said. Coventry against Oxford, Wycombe away to Swansea, Wimbledon take on Ipswich, Birmingham against Fulham, Watford welcome Plymouth, Bournemouth head to West Ham in that all Premier League tie, QPR against Luton, Brighton against Crawley, Norwich head to Palace, Cardiff welcome Southampton, Millwall take on Leyton Orient, and Brentford head to Colchester United. Those ties are to be played in the midweek, commencing the 26th of August, so not next midweek, the midweek after that. So in 2 weeks' time, we'll be doing this all over again for the third round, when we welcome the final 7 Premier League sides into the draw. For now, that is the 25 ties set up for round 2. And that is us tonight. Thanks for joining us tonight for this one. The first round of the Carabao Cup is over. The second round is decided, and we're just 2 weeks away from that. The Premier League gets underway this Friday. Manchester United take on Fulham. You can join us for that in about 48 hours' time. For now, thanks for your company, and night.